My whole life is consumed by art. One thing that got me started is learning how to see. And my mother taught me how to see and taught me how to see people. I always think about that when I think about images that I'm making in terms of humanizing people, and very grateful for that. It comes down to not sort of dehumanizing people. And if we think of the complexities of, Canadian history and colonization and criminalizing indigenous culture, there was an element of that dehumanized my own family, so I was curious about, those realities. And so I think that making images that are celebratory, but also within a realm of the socio-political and the spiritual, to sort of, to lift people up, both the viewer and the sitter, the subject of the image. Like you make your images, right? And you make them, you need to make them, you're compelled to make them. It's both theoretical and impulsive at the same time, and intuition. And then, when you're making beautiful images of indigenous people, you're hoping somehow that cancels out, the ugly stereotype. Thinking about the great Anishinaabe scholar, Gerald Visner, who he talked about the fugitive pose, which is such a lovely term. He is a literary scholar, and he looked at the frozen image of Native Americans, indigenous people, and how literature and the academy, the universities, were implicated in constructing that stereotype and that fugitive pose, and turning, the indigenous imagery into fugitives, if we think of criminalization of culture and those kind of things. But that through that fugitive pose, then that became part of, public knowledge. And that then the public just assumes, where do these assumptions come from? Is, what I'm constantly thinking about, because they still exist. And that's sort of one of the sort of shadows of history, when damaging stereotypes still exist. Say, for instance, is a series that I did called the Mustang Suite. And so I was thinking about the pony as a site, and the horse as a site of freedom and mobility for Plains indigenous people, and thinking about Black Elk's horse dance and the ghost dance, and ceremonial aspects of the horse, and then bringing in together how that sort of traditional ideas of the horse, bringing it into a contemporary realm. So whether brought in then a red Mustang car, or red Mustang bikes, or a pony girl that's sort of burlesque, or just looking at all those possibilities to collapse traditional knowledge, traditional practices, and then bring it into a contemporary art image. I think there's always the hope, right, that art is doing something, but it does something. It does something different for everybody. So whatever the viewer engagement is, once it sort of leaves my mind, and then takes a team of people to make it. So I couldn't make it without a huge team of people, which I'm very grateful for. And then goes through all the other various stages. But then when it makes it for the viewer encounter, right? And every viewer will, of course, have a different experience with it, contemplative or challenging or lovely, or they're in awe, or they're confused. That's I think the beauty of art is that it provides an experience with the viewer that's all individual, right? But there's sort of a collective realm within the gallery space as well. But that whatever engagement they have with it, and hopefully it's on, more than on a surface level, that they have something contemplative that could be transformational even.